All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this Coldcast presentation. I'm your casting host, Beef, bringing you coverage of the Runic Shift Invitational. We're in day 2 and the semifinals, where ex-Trademark Esports is going to be making their way to play against QsQ 357. One of these two teams going to be going up to the grand finals. With me for this very special match, we do have, once again, iNsania joining us. iNsania, thank you for being here to cast these games.
Thank you for having me. We are, as you said, in the semifinals. We have two well-known teams. They've been around for a long time. xtdM has had a couple of roster changes, but I mean, it's basically the same team still. The core is still the same. So I think this can end up being a very interesting matchup. We know QsQ to be a very streaky team. When they win a game, they usually go on winning a lot of them. And they did defeat Complexity yesterday, so maybe we'll see them pull it off against xtdM here.
Yeah, absolutely a possibility here. But, of course, more things to look forward to with this Runic Shift Invitational. S2 Games looking to showcase a lot of the changes that have happened to this patch. And both of these teams showing that they are not afraid to try out new heroes. QsQ actually winning yesterday with some really cool strategies, including a Kraken, as we already see that being shadow picked by style. But let's take a look at some of the heroes that we won't be seeing in this game with the blind bans.
Yeah, Artillery and Parasite from the Legion team. I'm surprised to see Artillery banned, to be honest. I feel like the nerfs on him kind of have brought him down to a level where he does not need to be blind banned anymore, but they still don't feel comfortable going up against him. Hellborn team gonna follow the, well, actually banned Moon Queen and Keeper of the Forest as their two blind bans. Two very standard bans, not much needs to be said about them.
Yeah, not at all. The lockpick actually going to be relatively standard to Magnus, Tempest, Ophelia, Pharaoh, Bubbles, and then Scout. So the Scout pick, very interesting, but way more interesting is the pool that we already see. So let's take a look at the bans real quick, like Wretched Hag, Fade, Deadwood, Pebbles, Engineer, Rally. A few of those strength initiators, and then your overall strong heroes like Wretched Hag and Engineer. But iNsania, talk to me about these awesome picks.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of heroes that we didn't really see in the past metagame. We have Accursed and Flint coming out for Legion side. I'm surprised they also went with the Accursed Sober combination. This is something that's like 4 years old now, I would say. That, like, it was the metagame back then. Soul Reaper Accursed, really good healing combo together. They do decently on lane. They can keep each other alive. They do a lot of harassment, but they don't really have any killing potential, and I think that is what you need in this new patch. So I don't personally really agree with these picks. It's not going to fill the role that I think they need to fill out for Flint to get space to farm. But yeah, Flint also being buffed a lot. Almost, you could say like he's a new hero. The amount of damage that he puts out, the laning presence that he has is immense. And xtdM responding.
Yeah, they most certainly are playing some of these heroes that they've shown they are not afraid to play at all. Tundra, a favorite of Zai, as well as a signature hero here for Haxrin in the Dampier. He had some very crushing games yesterday, as well as scrims earlier on Friday with that new Grimoire of Power that he likes to run. So looking forward to seeing that one come out once again. And of course, adding into that the very, very versatile Master of Arms. TDM's lineup looking very strong at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I really like their lineup. They've made it pretty much very clear. Dampier is going to have a hard time dying this game. They have a Master of Arms, they have an Ophelia to back them up, they have Bubbles and Tundra. Tundra, just by himself, is going to provide so much map control. And as if Haxorn was going to overstep, he has his own heals on top of Ophelia's heals, on top of Master of Arms heals. He's going to focus on damage items this game. He's going to go for that early Grimoire, as he has all the backline that he needs to be able to do so. And I think QsQ are going to have a really hard time holding them off, and Dampier is going to be farming very, very well this game.
Yeah, Dampier.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a quarterback with a golden arm behind a strong offensive line right now. Sunday, so I got to start making football references again. On the other side, though, I mean, QsQ 357, they finish out with Magnus and Tempest, so going for a little bit of that Wombo combo and giving them some pretty strong team fight potential. How are you seeing things pan out for the QsQ?
I mean, it looks like they're going to go for a bottom lane, and they're actually suiciding style by the looks of it, just judging by heroes. And I think this is fine. He's probably going to get matched up against either Bubbles or Tundra, which is a good matchup in his favor, and regardless of whatever happens. However, when it comes to this bottom lane, like Accursed Soul Reaper, I just don't see it happening. Accursed is going to be farming the pull, I suppose, with maybe Flint here instead, and the Soul Reaper in mid. But it'll be hard. It's really hard to predict their lanes, like running down here. But it looks like it's going to be a clash.
Yeah, there certainly could be. It's going to be about who actually spots who first. And Master of Arms could be in some trouble right here. There's the auto attacks. The Lava Surge going to be coming in. Judgments go out. Master of Arms going to be the first one to fall. Sorper in some trouble right here as well. The Shell Surf picks him off. Dampier now could be the one that's in a little bit of trouble. Magnus unfortunately does not have another stun, and it looks like Haxorn is going to be able to get away. QsQ shifting attention onto the Ophelia and the Tundra. In the end, a 1-for-1 exchange in the jungle prior to the horn sounding.
Yeah. Yeah, of course it was in favor of QsQ. They did get the first blood. However, that was a little bit of a misplay from TDM's end. You don't want, like, Fitsuke is the hero on their team with the lowest health pool, and he was the one running furthest up front. Of course, yeah, he does have his stun. He is the guy that can initiate, but you just saw there how that can be punished. So, a little bit of a surprising mistake from TDM. I feel like they could have coordinated that a little bit better. Maybe not expecting them to be so far up and ready to meet them. But yeah, it looks like they're actually dual laning the long lane with Ophelia and the aggressive jungle. I think this is a good play against the Tempest. And they, like, Accursed and Sorper aren't really able to do much about them. They're not going to be able to chase out the Ophelia. So I like the start from TDM.
Yeah, very interesting. And well, I'm interested to see that Accursed is going to be down here. Yesterday they were running the Accursed Flint Beastwood in the middle lane against one. This time they're feeling that Sorper is going to need that additional help in the bottom lane. And Jonas Fan, it seems like he has been transitioning a little bit into more of a short lane player rather than a suicide, and doing pretty well at it so far.
Yeah, I mean, your suicide players in this meta game are more so becoming solo laners rather than suicide players. We're falling back into more of this. You are going to see some 1v1 lanes middle. You're not going to be able to determine. It's not always going to be a 1-2-1 setup. In this metagame, you're going to see a lot more different ways of playing. The counter wards just bring so much versatility to the pool, and so much different, unique types of play that can be happening.
Now, speaking of those counter wards, looks like the pull was blocked down here in the Legion jungle and not being counter warded just yet by Nova. And Tempest actually being kept out of his own jungle by the level 1 Ophelia, dominating that Campman champion. And Papa Male's farm going to suffer as a result of this Ophelia that's just going to be harassing him constantly. Speaking of that harass, they look like they're going to go on mid.
Yeah, look, this is a really smart play for them, and it looks like they're going to catch.
Yeah, there's the charge shot. The stomp coming out from the Catman champion. Shell Surf with the Song of the Sea. Fitsuke gets credit for the kill on Master of Arms as TDM racks up their second kill.
Yeah, you can just see them abusing the fact that they have an Accursed on the bottom lane. Like, Accursed doesn't put any presence on Dampier. Dampier is still farming. There's no threat of Sorper Accursed really killing him here, unless he missteps majorly. So you can continue just being safe, running up, last hit creep, fall back, run up, last hit creep. He's completely safe, even though his support is not there. And he is on the long lane. So I like this movement from Fitsuke and Minot. They're doing exactly what they need to do.
Most certainly are. Now, taking a look up at the top lane, looks like Novi Pirat here by... Am I saying that correctly? They messaged me yesterday.
Pirat.
Okay.
Yeah, but they were trolling you, but yeah.
They're always trolling me. It's so hard to tell. I'm getting trolled constantly. But Tundra taking some pressure at the hands of Magnus, dealing it back out, though. And the CS situation definitely looks like it's going pretty well for Tundra.
Yeah, no, definitely. And we talked about signature heroes. And yeah, everybody's like, yeah, Zai Wild Soul. But trust me, his Tundra was probably his signature hero far before his Wild Soul ever was. And he plays that very, very well. And I'm glad to see him back on the hero as he takes the stun from Magnus and is tanking creeps, and he's actually manning up.
He is manning up, really going to use that extra armor, and he's going to try to go for a kill right here. The Cold Shoulder not available. The last auto attack not going to be able to cancel the potion either. So looks like Style and Mr. Zai just going to be content to square off one another. Oh, nice use of the Lava Touch to actually cancel the potion there.
Yeah, I mean, these are both two phenomenal 1v1 laners. They're absolutely... I think they might just be two of the best. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I think just when it comes to just a 1v1 situation and only that, these two are very, very nice. It's cool to see this matchup happen. Whilst in middle lane, Flint is taking a lot of pressure from Bubbles with the DD rune.
Yeah, the DD Bubbles almost going to bring down Flint Beastwood. Shell Surf on cooldown for another 8 seconds, though. And so Flint will be able to just activate that potion, even has the bottle available if he needs it. But bottom lane, more action perhaps. So Ophelia is coming in with a Minotaur. Accursed could be in some trouble. Charge shot, but Ophelia chooses to back up, feeling that it just wasn't going to be possible to get that gank.
Yeah. No, they have good control over the Hellborn jungle now. Tempest is running in here. He did go for a bottle. And this is something I really like seeing in this new patch, where you have a guaranteed rune, as he is going to take the Minotaur stun. And Minus is just going to run away. Okay. Yeah, not much coming out of that. They actually seem to be able to purge, I mean, force minus out of the jungle. I think this is a little bit of poor play on the end of TDM. They could have definitely kept him in there with a little bit more presence from Master of Arms.
Yeah, Fitske opting to stay in that lane just a little bit more as more and more action going on up here in the top lane. And does it shock you the number of bottles that we're seeing in games with the regen rune? 4 minutes in, we see 5 bottles in this game already. As more action in the bottom lane. Hold that thought. Glacial Blast going to be coming out here onto Dampier. There's the Terrify going off. The Cauterize and the Fire Shield are there. Dampier taking a lot of pressure. Tempest going for the dive, but the boots Dampier. Looks like he will get out of range and will get back to base safely if he needs to.
Yeah, I mean, if that would have been any other hero than the Curse, do you not agree with me that that would have been a dead target?
Yeah, most likely. I mean, in this case, the Accursed, his entire contribution was 150 damage with no stun or slow. So I could agree with that. His style gets a kill up top onto Tundra. Looks like the Lava Surge used, and then by the number of dead creeps around him, looks like he got a couple of lava touches off.
Yeah, well done from Style. As I said, two phenomenal 1v1 players. They're not afraid to take risks, and they will play aggressive, both of them. So, good play from Style. This is a huge thing for them. He's level 7 over Zai's level 6. If you take a look at the creep score, he's doing pretty good. He's at 22 against Zai's 31. I mean, it's not bad, and it's not amazing either, but he did get a kill, and this is huge for his team. They're actually winning the long lane, and that makes a big difference.
Yeah, it's looking good there for QsQ, but in the bottom lane, what they really have to worry about is this Dampier, who's only farming 281 gold per minute, so by no means free farming down here. And Sorryper, I mean, he's doing all right, holding his own with that level 2 Inhuman Nature, getting some mana back. Top lane, though, Magnus in trouble. The Avalanche going to be coming out here. Vulture Lord throwing down a Cyclone. Magnus will go down to the auto attacks of Novi Pirant and Minuts. Bottom lane, though.
The bottom lane, Bubbles is TPing.
Shell Surf, Song of the Sea, into the kelp field. Sorper trying to go for the turnaround here. Not going to be able to find it. Now Accursed is in some trouble as well. A couple more auto attacks might be enough. There's the Terrify, and Accursed tries to get the Cauterize to 9. Not going to happen, though, as the 2-for-1 special occurs in the bottom lane.
A really good TP there from Limp. I like this movement from TDM. They caught QsQ off guard, and they pretty much reset any kind of advantage that QsQ might have had from that kill up top. So very, very well done. Flint in the meanwhile, just farming away middle, and you know, this is the reason you don't really want a hero like Flint in your middle lane. Like, yeah, okay, he's getting farm, but what is he contributing to the game? What is
Dampier in trouble in the bottom lane. Down he goes to the Lava Surge Eruption. Great job from Jonas and Style. Sorry to cut you off there, Insania.
No, definitely. But yeah, like Flint isn't really able to move around. Good movement from Style. They do need this. And this is what I was going to get to. When you have a static farming mid hero, you have a static farming bottom hero, you have a support that's not really going to be able to gank, and you have a jungler that really wants to farm. You're not using any of the new things that have been added to the game, which is basically increased gold values for
mid lane. Shell Surf, Song of the Sea, double damage Tundra with the Avalanche. Setting up a kill onto Flint Beastwood. That's going to be his second death of the game. Looks like they might not be done. Nope, they are. QsQ going to choose to retreat.
Yeah. No, I think it's the opposite of TDM's lineup, where they have every single 2 heroes on their team can probably get a kill together. Any 2 heroes. And it's just so good. It's perfectly drafted for this new patch. I really like to see this from Minos. Very well done.
Yeah, very cool draft indeed. So Tundra scoring a couple kills there. Zai all of a sudden back up to 350 gold per minute, the top farmer in the game. On the other side, the Flint Beastwood and the Sorryper, who are trying to get their farm on, really not finding it here in the middle and bottom lanes, where there has been quite a bit of action. 9 hero kills, only 8 minutes into the game. I don't know. How are they going to reestablish that farm?
It's going to be difficult. As I said, they don't really have any heroes that can roam around easily for them and set up kills. They're very static laners. They have a Flint. Yeah, if they would win their lanes, if they would come out on top in their laning phase, they would have a very strong lineup. But it's always, they don't have that reaction possibility. Okay, what if we screw up a little bit? Can we get back into the game? It's kind of more difficult for them. They need TDM to make a misstep here so that they can get some pickoffs or make some huge plays for Style.
Top lane Style gets picked off. Ophelia and Tundra doing work, and Mr. Zai here on Tundra, 2-1 and 2. Bottom action, though, as Master of Arms takes the Glacial Blast. The Cauterize is there, and the auto attacks do finish off Fitske. That's going to be his second death of the game, and this sets up a nice, easy push for both teams in the long lane.
Yep. I think this is definitely in favor of TDM though. TDM's lineup, they just have more. As this gets into mid game, you're gonna have a lot more presence. I feel they're going to have the item, like all their heroes, their core items are so much cheaper than they are for the for the Legion side. Sorry. Therefore, when they get into the mid game, they're gonna have an advantage. They're gonna be the team that's able to press on.
Death there on Nox in the middle lane as Bubbles chooses to man up. Uses the kelp field at the last second to interrupt the money shot and gets the kill onto gets the kill onto Nox. So well done there. As Magnus might be in trouble up top again. Style having to lava surge out of there. The presence of Tundra with just those auto attacks with steam boots and the piercing shards doing a ton of damage. With bottom lane, elemental void use. There's the demonic execution onto Dampier, finishing him off. Looks like Tempest in a little bit of trouble, but Bubbles and Master of Arms not able to finish this off. iNsania, there's action everywhere.
Yeah, and this definitely is a consequence of the new patch.
Magnus is dead once again. Oh no, gets the lava surge on out of there. The avalanche just a little bit early for when Ophelia was able to get in, and the double Catman stomp wasn't used perfectly, allowing Magnus to get out. So a little bit of a misplay and good reflexes on the hands of Style.
Yeah, this is definitely something they need. They need to avoid getting killed by this avalanche. If you look on their team as a whole, Flint has died 3 times already, and that's hurting him really hard. His creep score was very good early on, but it's really tapered off with the deaths.
Yeah, it has, unfortunately, down there at the 255 gold per minute mark, which seems to be the story of Flint Beastwood in this patch. A lot of teams trying to run him, seeing that he has gotten all these awesome changes, but still, he's actually Dampier and Tundra in the bottom lane. Now, a curse throwing out a fire shield and a cauterize. Swiper's still going to have the judgment available here for a turnaround potential. TP support coming in via Tempest. There's the kelp field going out. They want Haxorin, and Haxorin taking some pressure, but Swiper going to go down. And now just Tempest and a curse as the charge shot comes in, slowing, but Haxorin going to go down at the hands of Flint Beastwood. And a beautiful flame consumption there by a curse, but the shell surf snipe going to be able to finish him off. Tundra comes in to get the kill onto Tempest. And now Flint Beastwood is the one in trouble. There's the avalanche, the forked lightning coming in. The charge shot, and Flint Beastwood will go down at the hands of Limp, who brings home a hat trick for ex-Trademark.
Yep, no, this is really, really well done, and it is the strength of the lineup kicking in right now. I was talking about mid game, and they're basically in that phase right now. They have the items that they need. They have the items they need to force the fight, or else the Legion is nowhere near that. Gold cost for their items is far higher than the Hellborns.
Attempted lava surge into eruption there up in the top lane, as Magnus does unfortunately get cancelled by the Minotaur. But like you said, that mid-game advantage is starting to come through, and I mean, heroes like Tundra with that portal key starting to get so deadly, as a TP does come into the bottom lane trying to get the deny on this tower, and it looks like QsQ should be successful with that.
Yeah, a kill attempt in middle lane as well on Dampier, but he's just not taking any damage. They don't really have the ganking presence. And QsQ, I feel like
Magnus
their lineups...
in trouble. Shellsurf Song of the Sea comes out. Double damage Bubbles. Oh, Kelfield gonna miss right there as well. So great job from Magnus, making an escape once again. Styles, he's got the Jukin boots on today.
Yeah, Style playing really, really well. He's had a couple of mistakes, but that was a really nice play. And every time they're able to dodge these ultimates, kills from the Bubbles ulti, kills from the Tundra ulti, that is a big deal, because it gives them more time to get their core items that they really do need in order to stay in this game. But I don't know, man. TDM are looking really strong. They're snowballing pretty hard right now.
Oh, they certainly are. Avalanche going on Soul Reaper, and down goes Jonas Fan. It's 4th death of the game. Having a very, very hard time finding his farm, and this is what happens when you talk about not really having that ganking presence. Just the sheer number of stuns on the team, extremely minimal, whereas on the other side, the lockdown is just out of control, and they're just not able to defend their towers, not able to defend the map at this point.
Yeah, I mean, just take a look at QsQ's lineup. Like, what's their follow-up on the Magnus stun? It's not really anything.
Flint Beastwood gets crushed in the middle lane. Dampier combo 100-0 on Flint Beastwood. And Flint's got 750 life, and that's a level 8 Dampier. Just able to crush him.
Yeah, on top of those piercing shards, that's a lot of damage coming out.
Most
now
it
looks
is.
like TDM is grouping up for a bottom push. And they have nothing to fear. They can just keep on roaming. They have control over the entire map right now. as Tempest is in a really iffy position.
Yeah, he certainly is, and will get spotted out by Tundra here. The Carl going to be coming in for the slow. Magnus with the two-man Lava Surge hits the Steam Bath as Kelfield going to connect with 3 right now. Piercing Shard's going to be going out. Tempest has the ultimate, but not going to be able to get it off. Great stuns coming in from Ophelia. There's the Vampiric Flight, Terrorize onto 2. Down goes Soiper. Avalanche not going to be used just yet, and Accursed using the Flame Consumption right now. Oh, there's the Dead Man's shot onto Ophelia, but the Shell Surf going to come in, finishing off Accursed as Ophelia does make it out of there. Magnus wants to come back in so badly, but it's not going to happen. And Flint Beastwood looks like he should be able to get out. Just kidding. There's the Avalanche, the Piercing Shards coming in, as well as the Cold Shoulder, the auto attacks to finish him off. And QsQ, 15 minutes into this game, down a huge margin in resources.
Yeah, I mean, you simply cannot afford to give away this many kills without taking any return. And as you said, it shows in the resource department. Styles been playing really well in these teamfights, getting multiple stun targets, but they just don't have any follow-up. And it really is coming down to the draft this game. I feel like QsQ's lineup just doesn't... It's not appropriate to the gameplay like against what TDM has. TDM is throwing themselves at them. They're getting a kill with every single ultimate, more or less. And they just can't deal with it. They have nothing to respond with. Yeah, Cursed is great as a defensive hero, but when you're giving TDM all the space that they want on the map, you're just not limiting anything from them. They can go wherever they want without fear of being killed. And as soon as they feel like, alright, this isn't working out, then they're just going to fall back. And Curse does have no presence. And it really did come down to the draft this game. It really did.
Yeah, maybe not working out the best for Q Squad 357 as they do opt to concede. Only 15 minutes in here. And I want to remind you, I mean, yesterday against Afraid, game number 1 was a 15cc as well for ex-Trademark. So they're looking dominant right now. They're looking like they know how to play this new patch, and they've probably been the most active team as far as scrims are concerned since this patch did come out. So showing off right now.
Yeah, I mean, out of the top 3, the ex-TDM, sorry, is definitely the team that's been playing the most. I've never seen Minus play this much, and I mean, we were on the same team. And he's just playing crazy much. I feel like they have a new spark of hope. There's something that's a fire that I haven't seen in a long time, and it looks like they are going to be able to contend with SG. They're not going to go just aim for second, as I feel like they have been doing in the last couple of games. So,
would you go as far as to say the fire rises?
The fire definitely has risen.
Fire has risen. There you go. It sounds good to me, man. You might not be able to say it, but it sounds good to me. So ex-Trademark taking game number 1 over Q Squad 357 in this best of 3. And if you recall, this is a single elimination tournament. So xtdM now 1 game away from the grand finals, and QsQ with their tournament life on the line. Going into game number 2, probably going to see some different hero picks. I mean, what do they need to correct in that draft to make things work out just a little bit better, and so they have a chance?
They just need to pick something more appropriate. If you take a look at TDM's lineup, just look at what they did. They had the Tundra, which I probably think is the most powerful hero in this new patch. The map control that he provides, the ganking presence, just the impact that hero can have. He was always a really, really strong hero, and people just, I feel, forgot about him. There was just no players that really played him extremely well anymore. And TDM they're bringing him back. I mean, they showed the strength of the hero. And I feel they need to ban that. They need to blind ban the hero out instead of artillery. It just is not an appropriate ban at all. And they need to move away from the accursed Soripers. They need to move into more heroes that have a presence, have a ganking impact, put fear in TDM when they go for kills, have heroes that can TP react. Just early teamfight heroes as well.
All right. Well, there you go, guys. We are going to be getting into Game 2 in this series in just a couple of minutes here. Going to go ahead and take a very short break, try to get this game set up. So don't go anywhere. This is Coldcast coverage of the Runic Shift Invitational semifinals, where ex-Trademark leads QsQ 1-0. We're going to be right back with Game number 2.